Several weeks ago, the trailer for My Hero Academia All's Justice came out, which showed off a very good looking My Hero Academia game. Basically, it looks to me, it seems like it's going to be a high budgeted My Hero Academia game, and it could very well go toe to toe with the current anime landscape, which I hope it really does, but that's besides the point. Anyway, even though news has been sparse and non-existent, we actually have an interview that came out that essentially talks about the story mode, gameplay elements, and more concerning the game, that of which we've had no prior information on due to the lack of information and interviews, until now anyway. So yeah, for this video, I'll be going over what this interview entails, what it covers, and don't worry, I will be putting in timestamps so that you can look through each important section. So yeah, let's start with the interview. It actually occurs from a Game Rant. Action battle game My Hero Academia All's Justice recreates the popular manga and anime series Final War arc in video game format as the students of UA, Pro Heroes, and other teams take out massive army of villains. Blah blah blah. Game Rant spoke to My Hero Academia All's Justice producer about the development of the game. Speaking via translator, they talked about what it was like to include so many characters working with the My Hero Academia production team to recreate the series, many memorable battles accurately, and more. She also revealed personal favorite characters to play as well as the ones she thought were the most difficult and to implement in this game. So yeah, let's jump straight into the interview. Question 1. How did you make the in-game battles feel like the epic final battle those players will remember from the My Hero Academia manga and anime? The difference between the fights and other fights in the story is that this final battle is the climax. Every character has a deep feeling about the battle and the justice they have in their mind. So that was the part we put in our effort into putting in the game. We are currently putting our effort into making the world and the game more immersive in the world of My Hero Academia, putting effort into the graphics, very beautiful, to give the audience the emotional feeling that they had when watching the anime with beautiful graphics. Also, we put our effort into recreating the epic battles in the game in detail using facial expressions and movements and so on. Yeah, I believe the current season was season 7, and even though some parts looked I actually thought the later parts of the season looked pretty nice. So yeah, I'm definitely hyped for this. Anyway, let's continue on. How will Izuku be different in this game compared to the One's Justice series? He's grown stronger and come out so far. The game itself and the battles themselves, including Deku, are very evolved from the One's Justice series. And what's really different about this game and Deku is the fact that there's this new feature called Rising included in the game. This actually allows characters to unleash their full potential of their power, making them more powerful through their quirks and skills. It allows the players to enjoy the dynamic, intense battles more than in the past series. This Rising system and its involvement in the battle is not just for Deku, but also for the students of Class 1A, other heroes and villains. They all have grown from the beginning to the final battle. This is actually reproduced in the game as well. One battle from the manga that fans really love is when Todoroki fought the villain Dabi. How did you portray those characters clashing in the game because it was such a popular battle? When we created not just that battle but all the epic final battles, we were thinking about how we should be creating the battle and the story, because we were committed to making a creative game where players can enjoy both the battles and the story of the final arc of the anime itself. So seeing that the anime is very detailed, we were studying those battles and those details to express that and reproduce it in high quality in this game. The difficult part of recreating the scene of Dabi versus Todoroki was showing the effects of Todoroki's ice and fire powers happening at the same time. That's one of the coolest parts of the anime itself, and we tried to put our best into recreating that in the game. Implementing that into the game was one of the most difficult parts. We hope that you are excited to actually see it in the game. During the final battle, the villain Shigaraki is so immensely powerful that it sometimes felt like the heroes had no chance of defeating him. How do you capture that in All's Justice but still make it possible for players to win against him in the game? That's a very good question. That was another difficult thing to implement. It's also very challenging throughout the past series because Shigaraki is a very powerful character, and if he were beaten by, say, Mineta or someone like that, it would be a little odd if we see that in the anime. But that's actually one of the good things about this game. In the anime, it will be impossible for Mineta to win against Shigaraki by himself, but in the game, the player is the one actually controlling him and using the full potential of his quirks and skills that are implemented in the game at that level. This is what makes the game unique compared to the anime. Players can actually choose the quirks, skills, and teams that they use, making something more powerful than the character we saw in the anime. I think that's how he make it a natural thing for Shigaraki. Although he is powerful, he is able to be beaten by other characters. This kind of reminds me of what they ask during those Dragon Ball Z game interviews. No offense. Alright, they're just asking who their favorite character is to play, in which case it's him. Personally, I think the most important part of this interview, at least in this section, is that it says one of the things that is different from the previous game is that players can now form a team of up to 3 characters and seamlessly chain targets between them, so people can form a team of 1A students and create teams that they have actually seen in the anime. That's one thing that we would like audiences to be excited about. Okay, pretty cool. Let's see what else. On the subject of including every class student from class 1A, I'm curious, was it difficult to put that character in the game because her quirk makes her invisible almost all the time? Yes, it was difficult to implement her in the game, as you say, because she is invisible, but in the anime there was a small part where we got to see her fighting. There weren't a lot of scenes where she was fighting, but there were some. In this game, as players can actually control her, they will be able to experience the skills and quirks she has and control and enjoy the maximum potential of her quirk. At this time, my favorite team of 3 1A students to play is those 3 characters. Since there are a lot of characters in the game, players will be able to create a variety of character combinations. Were there any characters that were added because they are particularly popular with fans? Whenever we think about which characters to implement, we always refer to the character popularity polls. There are official ones that are done in Weekly Shonen Jump, so we are always looking into that. But we have some surprises when it comes to characters. I'll just say that there are a lot of fan favorite characters in the game, so stay tuned for further information. Were there any quirks or powers that the characters possessed that were particularly difficult to portray in the game? All the quirks were difficult to recreate, but one thing in particular was the character Armored All Might, who we showed off briefly in the trailer. He was a difficult character to implement because, unlike the muscular form of All Might people are most familiar with, Armored All Might is a quirkless character. He's unique in a way. He's quirkless, but he's able to fight by using mechanics and weapons inspired by the 1A students. So that's something very different from the other characters, and that was one of the things that was very difficult to implement in the game. So yeah, we're getting him. What role did this individual play in developing the game? Did you work closely with him during the process? Yeah, I can't pronounce these words. I'm sorry. We received some feedback from Sensei and the anime production team as well. For the anime production team, we actually had a weekly catch-up with them to monitor the progress of the anime itself and adapt that into the game. So we were pretty close with the anime production team, and that's why we are pretty confident about how this game recreates the anime itself. Okay, pretty nice. Ooh, this is not a bad interview, honestly. I actually think it's pretty decent. They're not just asking fluff questions. At least that's what I think. I love the title All's Justice because it's such a great thematic follow-up to Once Justice. How did you come up with this title? So for Once Justice, it was based on the characters themselves. We were really focusing on the characters one by one, but as the story proceeds in the anime, the message was that everyone can be someone's hero. So that's what inspired our name the most. The concept of this game was focusing on the final battle, and our main message was everyone can be someone's hero, and that's why the name went from Once Justice to All's Justice. And we did create this game using the knowledge and experience we gained from Once Justice series, and I think this game evolved from that series. There are many things that actually evolved, including some things that we didn't feature in the trailer that we are hoping everybody will be excited about. There are a lot of things we included that people can enjoy that also made sense for this game. Yeah, I really hope that this game isn't rushed. They really need to put in their all for this game, because you don't want a Sparky Zero where certain things were rushed and became a whole mess at the release. What did the beginning of the development process look like? Did you start working on this game right after the second Once Justice? Okay, not a bad question. Let's look at the answer. We've been creating this game for about 4 years, including the initial concept phase and testing phase and so on. We were thinking about creating a new game after the Once Justice series was released, so we looked into what could be kept in the game and what could be better. We've been working on this game for a pretty long time. We could restructure the battles and creating the plot as storyline alongside the anime. How did you decide on teams of the 3 characters all controlled by the player? In the One's Justice series, we had a main controlled player and 2 sidekicks. And from that, we had a strong feeling that we wanted players to control all the characters equally. Because with the sidekicks, there wasn't much we could do for them, and there was limited time for the characters to be used. For this game, as a new Evolve My Hero Academia action battle game, we wanted all 3 characters to be controlled equally and to feel like a main character. Reminds me of when you're playing that Naruto game. So that's why we decided on teams of 3. Each character can be trolled and players can form a team of up to 3 of the giant roster of characters. So that actually makes the game more strategic and more intense, which we hope everybody will enjoy. Do you have a favorite scene or moment during the epic final battle of My Hero Academia? That's a difficult question because I've been working on My Hero Academia games for so long, and I'm one of the biggest fans, so it's very difficult to pick just one, which is why I committed to reproducing and recreating each moment in the game. The game's story is very emotional and narrative, and whenever we see the game, sometimes people in our company even cry looking at it. Oh boy, because it's really emotional and the individual moments are very good. Oh boy. I hope it's not the death of a certain character. Oh god, because I don't even follow the manga. We are very confident that all My Hero Academia all My Hero Academia fans, not just game fans, can enjoy this game. We have a very creative and strategic battle system with dynamic effects that can be enjoyed as well. So please be excited for this game and please keep an eye out for more information. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So not a bad interview, actually pretty good, especially for a game that just got announced recently. And a lot of these developers and publishers, they don't reveal a lot of information about their games because they still want to keep in that hype and release information slowly. I hope we actually get something in August. Hopefully, something more meaty in terms of more information. But yeah, not a bad interview. The person who conducted this interview, very good. A lot of decent information. And yeah, let me know what you think. I think that this for 2025 or even 2026, I don't know. It might come out in 2026. That'll be interesting. But if it does come out in 2026, then it'll be the big name game. And it's for me, Dragon Ball, My Hero Academia, and Demon Slayer are my top 3 anime so far. And Dragon Ball is DOA at the moment in terms of anime, and My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer are the only ones that really impress me in terms of anime games so far. I don't follow Bleach, so I can't comment on that. And Hunter x Hunter is... But yeah, let me know what you think. Be sure to give this video a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you all next time.